Okay, so it's 5. Let's get started because we have a lot to cover. And I'm sure as people come in, they will still get to see the core of the session, which is going to be a very dynamic demo. So thanks, everyone. I'm going to hide the chat. So if you make any questions, Freddie, who's also on the call, will be going through the Q&A. And if there's anything related to sound issues or video quality or anything like that, or I'm not sharing the right screen and it's awkward, then just mention it on the Q&A and Freddie will interrupt me and let us go back to the right path. Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I know it's very difficult these days to have people live on a session like this, so I really appreciate everybody's time. As you know, we're going to be talking about how to set up an omnichannel, omnilingual, and automated Jira Service Management. There's a lot to unpack. I'm Jaime Capitel, Resolutions Content Marketing Manager. And today with me as a co-host, I have the fantastic Vasily Kijaev from Appfire, who is going to cover a lot of the things we're going to show. Hello, Vasily.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, as Jaime said, I'm a team lead. I work in Appfire. I am a team lead behind canned responses and chat for JSM, also agile cards and now service for Jira. And we'll be talking about chat and canned responses today.
Awesome. All right. So without further ado, let's jump into the topic. And I'm sure many of you, as you saw the title of the webinar, thought, okay, this is about customer experience. It's a really exciting topic, and it is. It's very important, and a lot of it, everything that we're going to show, has an impact on the customer experience. But I want to start by leading you on the opposite side. I think it's time to focus on the employee experience, because if you think about it real hard, a good experience is what it's going to make or break your Jira Service Management adoption. And a successful Jira Service Management implementation depends a lot on how your agents go about their day. Here we have just a couple of stats to get you thinking about this. 77% of organizations say that the right tech is necessary to retain good employees. And it makes sense, because if you're frustrated about how the technology that you use every day works, then it's very likely that you will feel demotivated and frustrated, and you will want to look for different opportunities. But if you have the right stack, the right solution that allows you to focus and to not spend a lot of manual work and precious time, then that's going to make you much more motivated and satisfied with what you're achieving. In fact, I was going through the State of Atlassian report, the last edition that Atlassian put out a couple of months ago, and has also an interesting statistic. 73% of the respondents said that they still would like more automation capabilities in the Atlassian stack. So there's a lot that we still can do in terms of optimization and automation. But how can we unpack this concept, employee experience, and how can we aim at and creating a great workflow in Jira Service Management? As you know, the title of the webinar already contains the 3 concepts, so it's not very surprising. In our opinion, there's 3 pillars for the golden standard of a great employee experience, and those are omnichannel, omnilanguage, and automation. With omnichannel, I want to start with a clarification. When I say omnichannel, I don't mean every channel necessarily. The difference between multi-channel and omnichannel is not in the number of channels, it is in how they are organized around a central concept. And in this case, we're going to see how the chat inside Jira Service Management can be just the right dashboard, the right central location where you can organize a lot of interactions and a lot of value. When it comes to omnilanguage, we really have to think a lot for all the 3 categories, but all the 3 pillars. But I think for omnilanguage, it's very obvious that both customers and employees, they're digital consumers, and they're used to the expectations that are set by experiences like going into social media, going into review platforms. And when you go into TripAdvisor, for example, you never get to read a review in a language you don't understand because they're automatically translated for you into your browser's language. And that's the expectation that also we have to include in how we organize technology for the workplace. So that's what we will look into in this session as well. And for automation in particular, I mean, it's very obvious that this is a very, very important topic, but just think about how many repetitive tasks and unnecessary clicks you can still cut down. Analyze your day-to-day and your employees' day-to-day to see what's happening that is still hindering their performance. If you have manual tasks in your workflows, all of those are potential errors down the road. And they might be, when there's an error, then that leads to frustration. It leads to needing to recover from that error. It might not happen at the right moment, and so on. And particularly, the Atlassian, the State of Atlassian report by Atlassian that I already quoted, states that all of those people that said they want to see more automation capabilities want it for two reasons: for productivity and for better focus. So really important topic right there, and we will see how it all comes together. Freddie, can you launch the poll? Exactly. So we would like to know what you think and what is happening at your company. So we are launching this poll to understand whether your organization has an active strategy around any of these three topics: omnichannel, multi-language, and automation of IT service management. We're just gonna leave the poll open for a bit, and we can close it before the demo so that it doesn't disturb you. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you an example of the type of workflow that can happen when you integrate these three pillars together. And again, this is only an example. There's multiple things that you can do. But just imagine a Japanese consumer, Haruto, who bought a subwoofer online for her home cinema and wasn't quite satisfied by the experience. It's not what she was looking for. So then she goes back to the website of the company where she bought it, and it's imagine it's an Australian provider, for example. She asked in the chat, how can she do the return? Her chat is automatically assigned to a Japanese agent because her message is identified as Japanese. Haruto receives immediately a message in Japanese telling her that help is on the way. And as soon as Miruki is free, he goes to the question, reads it, understands what it is about, and then he doesn't have to type the question, the answer to Haruto's question, because it's a very common problem. So what he does is just select a canned response. Now, see how many interactions there are, how many things are happening here, but actually there are only two human touch points at the beginning, right when Haruto writes her message, and then when Miruki selects his canned response. All the rest is basically automated. Of course, after the canned response, there can be a lot of back and forth, still clarifications and questions and so on. But just think about how much we are optimizing by making sure that Haruto is assigned to the right person, that the right person can immediately find Haruto's ticket and doesn't need to write a lengthy document to explain all the instructions and policies. So how are we going to do that? We're going to show you now the ingredients for setting up examples like this. And those ingredients are 3 apps from the marketplace. So Vasily, it's your turn now to talk about the first app, Chat for Jira Service Management.
Sure, thank you. So we'll take a step back. I guess everybody here has experience with requesting some kind of a support on a website. I'm not sure about you, but for me, a live chat with a support agent is always the easiest way to do that. Unlike sending an email or leaving a message, requesting a phone call and whatnot. It's just too much commitment, too time consuming to do all those things. And Chat for JSM covers exactly that. This needs to have a live chat right there on like live. The app consists of two parts. First is the widget that provides your customers a way of getting live support in an obstacle-free and effortless way. Uh, Once the request is raised, it lands in your Jira. And you can, of course, communicate with the customer in your regular Jira issue view, but it's kind of awkward to have a live discussion there. And this is where the second part of the app comes into play. It is what we call chat dashboard. It is built to be the main work tool for your agents. They can observe their whole queue there. They can switch seamlessly between the tickets. They conversate in a live chat view and edit the Jira issues right there, all on a single page. I guess you'll have a chance to take a look at how this works live. And for now, back to Hemi.
Okay, thank you, Vasily. Yeah, we will see most of this in the live demo. In the middle, and the reason that we are showing these ingredients is that we're going to do a demo that includes the three of them, but it's good for you to be able to understand differences and when one and the other starts. So we also are going to be using issue translation for Jira Service Management. This is basically an app that translates every piece of communication between agents and customers and creates a localized customer experience. So for example, in the case before, if Haruto had been talking not to a Japanese agent, but to a French agent, for example, Haruto would have experienced a chat that was entirely in Japanese and she would have written only in Japanese, while on the other side, the agent was reading her responses translated into French and was writing everything in French. We have reached a moment in the maturity of machine learning where for this type of language, that is support language that is very specific, the amount of errors is really low, and you can get a very high level of proper messages and understanding without being afraid of getting lost in translation. What this app also does is it allows you, besides the translation, you don't need to use it for the translations if you have agents that speak every language that your customers are usually interacting with you in. You can also use the app to help you classify those requests into buckets, basically by building language-based queues, as you can see in the image, and we will see in the demo again. So it's just a great way to allow you to expedite how you are assigning tickets from different languages to agents with the right language background. And back to you, Vasily, now about canned responses Pro.
Yeah, so with canned responses, we strive to automate and simplify repetitive tasks, such as composing messages, transitioning issues, setting labels and whatnot, and let your agents to concentrate on the actual decision making. We believe this is the most valuable part of their job, and the rest should be done fully or at least semi-automatically. For that purpose, canned responses lets you create dynamic templates for repetitive responses, create them once and reuse them thousands of times. It lets you automatically append standardized yet personalized signatures to every message you send publicly. It lets you automatically perform routine tasks such as changing assignee or setting components in tickets, and much more. We believe that canned responses is the essential tool to direct your agent's energy into solving real customers' issues instead of getting drowned in all those routine tasks.
All right, perfect. So with that, we have finished the introduction and we're going to go now into the demo. But before we go into the demo, let's have a look at the answers to the poll. If you can launch that, Freddie, please, for us. All right, so everyone is doing automation. 20% are doing multi-language and 10% are doing omnichannel with an active strategy in their organization. I think it also has to do with the fact that omnichannel is very difficult and challenging sometimes. So, but really, yeah, very interesting result. So we will just go and see how we can put all of this together. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing the presentation. Give me a second to find the right button over here. And we'll show. So you should be seeing my screen now with a split screen actually. And what we have on the left is a mock-up e-commerce site that we have built for this demo. And on the right, we have our Jira Service Management project. And what we'll do is that we're going to create 5 examples of customer messages from the chat, which is right in this bottom right corner. With increasing difficulty, we'll start with something really simple, and then little by little, we will make it more complicated so that you can understand exactly how the 3 apps are interacting together to create value for both customers and employees. And there's a 4th guest that we're going to see. It's not just the 3 apps, it's also automation for Jira. As you know, for Jira Service Management Cloud, automation for Jira is just part of the offering. So it's basically how these 3 apps are going to be embedded with native functionality, essentially. So yeah, let's just go in this case, how the, well, the first thing obviously is that, as you can see, it's really easy to include the chat widget in any public website. Really easy to do. So we have it here. I can start a new conversation. We get the prompt to chat in our preferred language. And first ticket, first language. In this case, it's going to be Spanish just because it's my native language. We'll just send it there. And in a second, it should appear in the Spanish chat. Now, as you can see, I have I have a lot of queues, and I have specifically 4 queues for chat. I have some of them for specific languages, 1 for the languages that are neither Polish nor Spanish, and 1 for every request, just as an example of some things that you can do. We will look a little bit later at how to set them up, but it's JQL basically. I'm gonna hide this and make this a bit larger so that you can follow. And I will click now in the ticket. You may have noticed already that there was an automation sending back an automated response saying, thank you for your question, we'll be in touch soon, already localized into Spanish. And that is an automation that we have that as soon as it receives the message, it reads the customer language and picks here this, it sends this message starting with the command #translate. And we're going to see this command over and over every time we want to translate something. Basically how it works is that when you want to translate a message for the customer to be read in his language, you need to create an internal comment, start that internal comment with #translate as here, and then just drop the message. And internal comments, for anybody who's not perfectly familiar with the interface, are marked with this yellow background. Also, an internal comment is the initial translation of the customer's message that we have here in English. So we already have here some back and forth with translations, and what I'm going to do is just create a no response right now, a manual response following the same process. I'm going to add an internal note. I'm going to start it with #translate. And then I'm going to hit send. And immediately it shows over here. Okay, pretty easy example. Let's go back and create a second example. Oh, before we do that, let me just show you a different channel where you can also use the chat. Let me duplicate this. If you go to the actual customer portal, you can also open, your customers can also open the chat there. And they will see this widget again, and they can start a new conversation. They're already logged in here, obviously. I'm not going to create an example here. I just want to have the split as we can see both sides at the same time. Okay, so let's go now to our second example. The second language is going to be Japanese. All right. And instead of opening, I mean, I can find it in the international chat for sure. It's already there. You can see customer language, Japanese. But I'm going to open it in this case from the chat dashboard. And in the chat dashboard, I can see every chat request in this case because that's the active filter. I can see again the initial message, the automatic translation of that message. Do you have sports tracksuit in bold colors? They are supposed to give them to teenagers. The translation here, you can feel it's a machine-made translation. It's not very natural, but you can still understand perfectly what this person was asking for, right? And we have the hashtag translate automation here with the first comment, first response, and the translation into Japanese. And now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and respond, but I don't speak any Japanese, so I'll just use this message with a selection of flashy jumpsuits. I have to remember to add an internal note, and that's right the exact point where again the two apps are interacting. When I select an internal comment here and started with hashtag translate, I'm triggering the translation app. I will just send it, and immediately it will appear over here. I want to stop for a second also on the filters because I think they're very interesting. These filters here are user contextual. So if I am the agent that speaks Japanese, I can simply go to filter management, create a new filter, grab the JQL over here, paste it over here, change the language parameter. And we've seen that Japanese is JA before in the key. Give it a name. And save it. And now when I'm on duty call and I have to respond to Japanese agent chats, and there's lots of them, I can make sure to be focusing on those. That's really handy. And I love that feature, to be honest. Okay, we're gonna go now. Oh, I'm just another quick, obviously, you can also reply directly to the customer, and right here in Japanese, if you can, something like gomen nasai. I don't have kanji that I can use, but you can always choose in this mode whether you want or not to the response to be translated. So that's very important also. You're not forcing any agent to use the translation every time. Let's go on to the third example. Different request, different language. And now it's going to be German. There you go.
Jamie, I'm not sure it's not just me, but your screen is frozen.
Okay.
Oh, now it's good. Now it's good.
Okay, back in good shape. Thanks for letting me know, though. And if it happens again, do let me know.
Sure.
Because you're all very silent, obviously, because I'm speaking, and I don't know if I'm talking to nobody or if you're all following. Okay, so again, same process. Let's go back to the old chat issues to see also the German response here. And let's try to understand what they are asking for. So the translation is, what good shoes do you have? Could you please recommend me a comfortable pair of shoes? Okay, and in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to start using already canned responses to accelerate how we're responding to this customer. Okay, we're going to add an internal note, and we're not going to type the #translate command. We have a canned response for that. We're going to hit response translation, and after that, we're going to hit. We also have a template for comfortable shoes that we have called curated Crocs, because Crocs, well, they're very, very comfortable. Might not be the most fashionable, but they're definitely comfortable. And then we're going to hit send. There you go. So I haven't typed anything, and my response has gone out in basically 3 seconds. So really, really interesting. Now we're going to stick to the same process, but we're going to make it a little bit more complex still with the 4th example. Let me go back here, start a new conversation, new language, and now it's Russian. Let's see what our Russian customers want to ask. I think I have a filter here, for example, for Russian request, by the way. So we could also jump on it from there. Let's read it. I bought a coat, but it's too big for me. A polar bear could fit next to me. And can you send me a small size? This person definitely needs some help returning an item. So this is a classic example of question where you send specific instructions, you send them out to a link. There's a very, very procedural workflow there. And what we're going to do is include an automation. For doing this, we need to go to the issue panel, and we're going to open it from the chat. Here on the top right, we have the issue key. We can click on the issue key, and then the issue panel opens. And in here, we can write our canned response, or we can use canned responses to write our message. Again, we have to start with an internal note. Actually, we can choose this internal note at the end, but I think it's always best to have it as a habit to click on the internal note. We're gonna hit response translation for the #translate command. And then we also have this template here, return a new shipment, with some instructions and specifications and so on. And we see that an action will be run when we save the note that will transition this issue to queued for shipment. And then this imaginary workflow, what this is going to do is put the issue in the board for the logistics department to take care of the return. So we're just gonna save it. And as it's saved, the issue is transitioned to queued for shipment, and the customer gets the instructions. That's very fancy. Really like that as well. We have a similar 5th example where we have 3 apps with another type of automation. Let me go back, create a new conversation, and in new conversation, new language, and this time it's Arabic. Let's go back to all chat issues, and here we have the Arabic question. Good morning, I have tried to pay with Visa, however, the bank authorization process is giving me an error. We're gonna go back to the issue view, but we're not exiting the chat. So that's nice that we can click here, and then when we click close on the issue panel, we are back. And in this window, we have, again, the translation of every thread that we've seen, and we're gonna add the response again from here, add an internal note. We'll start with the translation command again. This is doubled for some reason, but that's fine. And we also have a template for a create bag. So we're gonna tell the customer that we're creating a bag to investigate, and we'll be in touch as soon as that's done. When we see the action that will be run, we see that there's a web request. And this web request is basically connecting. In this case, it could connect to a lot of things, but in this case, what we're doing is sending a webhook that then is fetched by automation for Jira. We will look at the automation in a second. We're going to save the note. And what this automation will do is create the bug. Okay, so we saw the response going in on the chat. And let me just open this again, sorry. And we can see here that we have a bug reported. When we open that bug, we have the original summary in Arabic, which would be gibberish for most agents. But as we can see, that summary and description is also translated by the app. So there's no problem there for lack of understanding of anything. And the original issue is linked here. So we don't lose any, it's all tracked and easy to follow. Right, this was the last example, but before we jump on the next section, I want to show you the automations that we have used. This is the one we were just looking at. Basically, as we saw, this is the webhook sent by canned responses, fetched by automation for Jira. When this is received, a new bug is created in the same project, where the summary contains the reporter name and the description contains the original summary. And then both issues are linked. Basically, it relates to the most recently created issue, because this automation is super fast. It's very, very difficult that anything else will happen in your Jira instance. Going back to the list, I also want to show the automatic first response that we've been seeing from the beginning. Basically, it's very simple. We have a small branch, but it's just for detail. Whenever the value changes for customer language is the custom field where we store the language that the customer has, the language of the message, of the first message of the customer. It identifies that, so and stores it in Jira. So when that changes, it will basically add a comment to the issue saying, hi, thank you for your question, and an agent will be in touch with you shortly. Since this starts with the hashtag translate command and is stored over here as an internal only comment, this will be translated in, basically the customer language that has been identified. And the branching just does something fancy. When the reporter is known, so when it's not the anonymous chat user, because we are using the anonymous chat user most of the times here, then we will also name the reporter just for a more personalized experience on the chat. That's it. It doesn't apply to the chat, sorry, it will apply everywhere actually. So that's the two automations. I also want to share quickly, because we've seen the chat dashboard, we've seen the language keys, but we haven't looked at the canned responses, templates. There's a lot more. I just want to touch on the templates. Let's see if it loads. It might take a couple of seconds. Let me see the bandwidth made. Oh, small bug there.
It's always on a demo.
Yeah, exactly. This never happened to us, right? We had a ton of things to look at, but no, it's fine. We can look at it in a second, or you can explain it. It basically, I wanted to show the templates and how to build them. They're very, very easy. But we can perhaps go over the next section, and as it loads, I will show it later. So I'm gonna not stop sharing. What I will do is share the presentation now. Again, because we're gonna go on we have, besides the demo, we have some bonus features that we also want to comment on. So Vasily, feel free to either go through this screen or let me know if you want to control my screen, and then you can show it on the demo as well.
Actually, I would like you to give me control so I can
Absolutely.
switch back and forth if it's possible.
Yeah, let me just go to the demo there, and I will give you remote control. There you go.
Okay. So the first feature I want to talk about was chat. In chat was the Omnilingual interface. Okay, this bothers me a bit. Sorry, I'll try to refresh again.
There you go.
This is chat now. So yeah, now it's working. In chat, well, Hemi already told you how to make your communication omnilingual, but with chat you can do not only that, but you can also make the user interface omnilingual. And for that, you could go to global app settings and set up your translations. So it basically allows you to change every piece of text of the user interface to any language you would like. And it will be set automatically depending on your customers or agents locale. So it's not only for the widget, it is also for the dashboard. Sorry, I'm back. Tried to go back, but it wasn't my pleasure. So this is first feature. Another feature is the push notifications. Jimmy, can we go back to the presentation?
Sure. Let me just share. There you go. Okay.
So I'm not going to demo it because it's quite hard to demo on a single computer. But as in every other messenger nowadays, or messenger-like application, you would expect push notifications to be sent to you whenever there's a new message, and chat does exactly that. So you don't have to have your chat dashboard open. Whenever you're online, and in chat you can put yourself online. I will show that in a second. And there's a new message or a new request comes in, then you will see a message, a push notification, like here you have example. Hi there, could you help me? So this is cool. This will not let you to make your customers wait whenever you're ready to reply. And the last one, but not least, can you switch back to the user interface?
Absolutely.
Issue details view. So
I think you still have control. I'm not sure.
no, I don't have it.
Okay. You have it now.
Yeah, now I do.
No,
This
you're
one, right?
in project now. You have to go to Shopcore Automated Support, the start one on the top.
Okay, yeah, sorry. So in chat dashboard, I just wanted to show you how cool this page is. So it allows you to, your agents, just to stay on this page whole day and do all their work here. They can see all the issues here in any projects. Like you just put a jQuery here. So basically anything you would like will be shown here in the queue. You can see the internal messages. You can send public messages here. And on the right side panel, you can change you can transition the issues to the whatever status is in your workflow. You can customize this view. You can put whatever fields you would like to see here. And you can change them right from here, like in your issue view. Change assignee, change labels. Disclaimer, at this point, we don't support all types of label of fields, but we're working on it and it will come over time. Yeah, and apart from that, you also have this chat information. This is specific to chat application. So you have the IP address, you have the country of the customer, you have their time zone, and where this was started. Yeah, I guess this is all for the chat.
Okay, fantastic. And I have to say, I've seen a lot of improvements since we started talking about this webinar. So it's an app that I've seen really move forward very dynamically. Let me stay over here and sorry, let me claim back the control. I'm not gonna show you a couple of more things about the translation app. And the first and most basic is just, I think we've seen it very quickly in the chat filter, but I just want to show you how it is to create language-based queues. If we edit this queue, we can see that what we're doing basically is filter by customer language is ES in this case, and request type chat and status resolved because we don't want the resolved issues. By just choosing different parameters for this, or using operators like and, or, etc. You can build any different combinations and create queues that fit your appropriate needs. And these JQLs obviously can also be used for building specific reports by country or language. Also for creating specific SLAs, for example. As you know, JQLs are very, very powerful, and the way they are embedded into Jira Service Management makes them very, very appealing. Something else about the translation app regards the settings, which are really simple, but there's some options there that I wanted you to see. Let me close this window already because we don't need it. Basically, everything we've shown you about the hashtag translate command is just a possible mode between two different options that you can choose from. Basically, the idea is that you may not want to explicitly tell your customers that you're using a translation app to communicate with them for different reasons, just because it can be very cumbersome to show original messages and translations side by side, particularly if you're using the chat, and just because it makes it cleaner, right? If you, however, want to be more transparent with your customers and letting them know that there is an original message that is translated and letting them read the original message every time, you can switch to the bilingual mode. That is the advantage. It's more transparent for the customer. It may make sense for some of you, depending on your industries and how sophisticated is the relationship with your users. A little bit the problem here is that the translation will be triggered every time. So there's no control really for agents to decide when they're translating and when they're not. Besides, if they're not using the project default language, if they're not using the customer language, their replies will be translated, and that's it. So invisible mode, on the contrary, gives you much more control on when exactly and who is using the translation, while still translating every customer communication for your agents to understand. And one final thing that I want to say, and I think Freddie will drop the link in the chat in a second, but I'm gonna show it also in the Atlassian Marketplace real quick. It's the sister app we've been demonstrating issue translation for Jira Service Management. We have a sister app, issue translation for Jira, that works for Jira Software, Jira Work Management, and it will work very soon also for Jira Service Management. And what this does is translate issues internally in Jira between different users. So if you have users who can only write and read in Arabic, for example, and all your Jira is in English, they can still write their comments and their issues in Arabic, and they will be translated into English for them, and they can consume information in Arabic, even if the original is in English or any other language. And we think that is very helpful, and it was a request that many customers had. And now, Vasily, back to you for the bonus features for canned responses. Do you want to show it on the presentation?
Can you just give me control and I'll just show it in the user interface?
Of course.
Okay, so now about canned responses. Okay, let me try my way to here. Okay, here. So once you install canned responses, you'll see a new panel here called canned responses, and it mimics the looks and feels of the original issue comment box here. While it does its job, I have to admit it's not really comfortable to have two similar things on one page. And this is why we developed the Chrome extension that you can install from the Chrome Marketplace or Edge or Firefox. Unfortunately, Safari is not supported due to reasons. And what it does, it actually merges the canned responses functionality into the original native comment box. So you can see there is no more canned responses section here, but instead you have all the functionality here. You can, as usual, use this comment box like without canned responses, like a normal comment box, or you can use all the functions of canned responses, including the automated actions that you can see here. So this is the extension, and if you're using canned responses, I highly encourage you to install one. It makes things easier. Another thing I wanted to show is signatures. So this is quite a new feature we have, and what it lets you to do, it lets you to specify signatures that will be appended to your messages in canned responses comment box. So you can see right now we have this signature specified chores and current user first name. And whenever I open an issue and I click reply to customer, I have to refresh the page because I installed the extension here. So when I click reply to customer, and there's already a draft. I need to cancel the draft first. Yeah, you can see the signature here. And what is nice about those signatures, you can define them on multiple levels. You can define them on personal level, so everybody has their own individual signature, or you can go global and define one single signature for the whole instance. Or if it's too much, you can go and define those on project levels. Or instead, you may want to disable signatures on project level or personal level, or you can override those signatures and use personal specific signatures. And moreover, you can customize those signatures and append project specific or personal specific information in those signatures. So we try to make it as flexible as possible so it would cover all the use cases. Another thing I want to show you is a page we call Insights. And this is basically the statistics of how canned responses are being used in your instance. So you can see all the templates you have, how many times they've been used, by whom they have been used. That you can see individual statistics. Like let's take this most used response. You can see how many issues it was used, by whom. You can even see the history of changes here. And you can filter by the content of the templates or by how they are being used. This all is a very powerful tool for you to manage how the communication with customer is going on. So you can see if someone is supposed to use global template that you defined as a manager for your agents, but they're not using it, or on the contrary, you could see that someone is using their personal templates very often, and you can just go through those personal templates and assess if these are the words you would like them to use. Or you can go there and just promote those personal templates to project level templates or global level templates so that everybody could use them. And while we're here, I just wanted to show you one more thing. Since everybody seems to be interested in automation, I'll just show you how automations and change responses work. So this is how you define a template. You put some stuff here. I'm not going to focus on that, but the interesting part is these actions. And here you can specify what actions should be done whenever you submit a public change response or internal one. For now, we support these 3 types of actions. You can set issue field, like labels or simple text fields or assignees. You can transition the issue to another status, or you can send a web request. And this is the most powerful tool. As Hemis showed us, you can trigger an Jira automation from here with this kind of a web request. And it basically allows you to do anything you want in Jira. It's very flexible. You can provide custom data in the body, or you may want to trigger some third-party systems with this. And well, the sky is the limit. Yeah, I guess I'm done here.
Okay, thanks, Vasily. I have one final thing that I forgot to show in the automation department. So let me go to project settings for a second, and to automation. I think it was open somewhere actually. Yeah, over here. The automation to assign automatically tickets based on the customer language to specific users. Here we have it. It's super easy. When the value changes for an issue to a specific language, then you assign it to, and you have different options. We are using here a specific group called German agents, but you can choose, specific agents if you don't have a dedicated group or a user in a role, and so on. It's very simple and very effective for those automated assignments. And that's it for the body of the presentation. We are going to, I think, but let me just show the final the final summary of the benefits for you guys to reflect on what you've seen and kind of boil it down, because I know that it's been a lot of information. If you're going to talk at your companies about how to set something like this up, you may get questions of why we're doing this or what's going to be the result. Or for agents, we've seen that you're going to be able to automate a lot of routines, diminish the risk of errors by a lot, and improve focus. So ultimately, you have more satisfied customers. For teams, this is about improving the employee experience overall, allowing teams to solve more tickets, and ultimately not only retain talent, but also be able to hire, not just based on the languages that you need for a specific combination of languages for a specific region, also hiring primarily based on the skills, because we are able to provide an omni-language experience. And at the business level, just going higher a little bit, this will accelerate very important KPIs like your time to first response, provide a localized support overall, allow you to just eliminate almost SLA breaches in many cases, and at least for the first responses, and that localization also at the level of KPIs of SLA. So if you want to focus on a specific region, let's say you're starting on a country like Brazil, you want to focus on Brazil, you can set specific SLAs for Brazil and create basically a specific bucket with queues and dedicated agents, or whatever it is, in your Jira Service Management. So just think about those options. And with this, I wanted to communicate that we are sharing promo codes for the 3 apps to all the attendees. We will share this also by email, so you don't have to write it down. You can write it down now, but we will be sending this together with the recording in the follow-up email. 3 months for free for all the 3 apps. We think it's a great opportunity to start working on these workflows and exploring the opportunities for you specifically. And with this, I'm going to leave this screen for you to write it down if you want to do that. We're going to take some questions. I think there are some in the chat already. Let me look at it. So yeah, there are some questions. Let me stop sharing now. You will have, as I said, the codes in your follow-up email, and let me just go through the questions that we have for a second. Let's see what we can respond. We have time, I think, for 3-4 questions perhaps. So yeah, a very interesting question someone sent is, and it's about Omnichannel. Is there some way to get a notification from the chat in our company's Slack? I think that's a very good one.
Yes, of course. You can set it up. It's not actually has to do anything with chat, but you can set it up with automation in Jira and set this integration up, because chat messages are essentially comments on the issue comments. So it's possible.
Okay. That's yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, the combinations with automation are so nice that basically you can put it anywhere, right? Virtually. Yeah. We have another question. Susan is asking, would it only be international languages or other languages as well? It's here, I can say that every language in the world is covered, but what we utilize is the Google Translate API, which has improved a lot and has a different version as of last year, I think. I'm going to just give you an example of Spain. I'm based in Madrid. We have Spanish is the national language, but there are 3 regions with co-official languages. Those are Galician, Basque, and Catalan. And there's also Valencian. There's a whole debate about other languages in Spain, but all of those are covered. So you can set up, you can set it up and have an agent in Barcelona write only in Catalan because they're more comfortable with that, and a customer from Bilbao writing in Basque, which has nothing to do with it, and they will be communicating fluently with each other. Okay. So Dragan is asking, is a translation tool possible to use in Jira without Jira Service Management? Well, as I said, the scope of this app is to translate communication between agents and customers. So what you would be looking for would be the sister app, which I think Freddie has linked at in the chat as well. In that situation, you can translate comments between agents. Yes, it's a bit different how it works, obviously, because it's not real time. Basically, what you allow users to do is to write and consume information in preferred language, and still stick. Jira can stick to the business language, English or whatever it is. Any other questions? We have time for any clarifications that you guys want to make. Clarification I want to make is that sitting together is a breeze. We didn't have to work. In fact, the reason for this webinar is that we realized the resolution, how easy it was to work together with these 2 apps by AppFire. So we just showcased that and explored how far you can go. But if you have the 3 apps and you just set them up together in the same project, they will just work together. You don't have to do any customization, any integration work. No, you don't need a consultant, and it's just very, very easy. So feel free to explore it, and you will have a working implementation in an hour or 2. Anything else? Come on, guys, don't be shy. Okay, the Dragon is making another question. Because we haven't integrated with Freshdesk for now, however, I plan to migrate fully over to service management, but changes take time. Do you offer help with the setup? Yes, I mean, I don't know how far it works. Perhaps you can comment on this, but that's business as usual for us. We work very commonly with implementations, and we do screen share sessions with customers to help them get up and running.
And for us, yes, absolutely. We always like to help. You can drop a message at support@appfire.com, and our support will be happy to help you.
Yeah, exactly. And in our case, we have on the website, we have a support tab on the main menu, and there you have like a embedded Calendly links with the available time for our support team, and you just can book an available time, a sort of time for you. So that's easy. All right, guys. So thanks again so much for your time. Really excited that you made it to the live session. Tell your friends and colleagues about this, and we will be sharing the resources in an email next week. The follow-up, the recording video, and the promo codes. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions whatsoever. And thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Have a nice day.
All right. Bye-bye. Take care. Thanks, Vasily.
Thank you.